Okay, so hello, Nosy Neighbors fans. This is Jessica Cardin with Murdoch Manwaring Company, a real estate group at Keller Williams Realty East Idaho. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we're excited. We are talking about habits and habit coaching today, which is a huge opportunity for all of us because I think this is something that can benefit everybody in their lives. So thanks for joining us, and we're going to get right to that. By the way, if you love local businesses like we do, please like and follow the Nosy Neighbors page. Go back and check out some of the businesses that we have highlighted. These are our friends and our neighbors, and we'd love to help them be super successful. We've had some really cool things that have happened recently, and you'll notice we're posting more what we call throwbacks. It's been now 3 years since we've been doing this, and so we don't want to miss the ones that we've done in the past. So watch for these really cool businesses that are still around and still amazing to go and check out. And speaking of Idaho Falls, if you love real estate like we do, head over to Murdoch Manwaring Company, managed at a crazy time in real estate today. What a shift we've had in the past couple months. And if you're interested on keeping up on all of those latest stats, if you go to mmcidaho.com and click at the top, you can get our newsletter, and we'll send out our market update every month with a few tips and tricks on home maintenance and home ownership, as well as checking out how cool and crazy this new market is. So we're excited to have you. Let me know if we can help you sell a house or buy a house. That's how we pay for the Nosy Neighbors. Okay, let's get into this. Suzi, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
No, we are excited to be that. So, okay, Suzi, so we're talking about, so this is Suzi Barrett, everybody, from Idaho Falls. We're talking about habits coaching today. So tell me, what is it that you do? What is habits coaching?
Habits coaching is simply the support you need to keep you consistent. Most of us have ideas and ambitions, and we know what we want, but we have a really hard time actually making it happen. And so through the course of my career, or if you want to call it that, my education and my experience, I have discovered what it is that holds us back from actually achieving the thing that we want. And a lot of it is the way that our brain is actually structured. And if you understand how your brain works, then you're able to form those habits. And habits are simply things that you do without really thinking about it, things that you do kind of on autopilot that are a part of your daily life. And so I teach people to take what they want and turn it into small little daily tasks that they can do every single day. And then I teach them to automate those things so that they just continually happen, continually bring them results on autopilot.
I love that concept, because the one thing that I hate the most about like dieting or anything else is that it interrupts and it's hard. It doesn't come naturally to me. Like I have to think about it all the time.
Exactly. Yep. That's a huge problem. And that's one of the battles that I try to fight is most of the things out there get harder as you go, but my program gets easier as you go because you learn how to do it in the opposite direction.
I love that. Someone's always said, you get that runner's high. I'm like, I get runner's nightmare. I don't want to keep going until there's a point where I'm so euphoric that I don't know I'm running. I can't ever get there. But it's, habits, it's an interesting concept, right? It's that idea. Can we start to do things automatically that benefit us? Because there's a lot of stuff we do with things automatic that don't benefit us. So
absolutely. Yes.
Sometimes we don't even know that, which is such a cool concept. Okay. Definitely. So let's get all the logistics out of there. Who can do this? Who is this open to? How much time how does this work? Do they have to be in Idaho Falls? Tell me the logistics.
You bet. It's an online program, so you can do this from anywhere in the world. And there's 2 offers right now. One is for people who want healthy habits. So like you're talking about, if you want to do something that is, fitness related or diet related, but is actually enjoyable, I have a program that's called Healthy and Happy. And that's the key, is you want to be able to enjoy what you're doing, because if you like it, you'll keep doing it. So we find out exactly what speaks to you personally, and then we personalize it to you. We form those habits, we make them consistent for you, and we keep it super simple so that it actually fits into what you're already doing. That's the other thing that most people are missing in their health journey, is that it's too dang complicated.
Oh my word, you're talking totally. And then I use that as an excuse.
Absolutely. Yes, we all do. Oh, I'm too busy. I don't have time.
I'm too busy.
I don't know. Exactly.
I can't fit it in. I can't make it work.
Yep. So we fit it into mostly things that you're already doing and things that you already have with you. Like, we're not going to have you measuring food. We're not going to have you taking measuring cups around with you. Like, it's all very, very simplified and very, very possible to fit into your already current daily life. And it takes, like you asked, it takes 60 days to go from not knowing what the change should be to automating that change, and so that you get consistent results on autopilot. So it takes
Wait a
about
minute,
60
Suzi,
days.
I thought it was 21 days.
It's 21 days to start a habit. So there's two parts of your mind, which is why Life Conscious, if you're checking out the website here, like Live Life Conscious, the conscious part of your mind gets on board within about 21 days. That's why 7-day challenges work, 14-day challenges work, 21-day challenges, because you're using that piece of your brain. But newsflash, that piece of your brain is only about 5% of your brain. And that other 95% has not come to play yet. That other 95% starts to come to play at about 40 days, 40 to 60 days. And that gap right there, that between 21 days and 40 days is where most people quit. That's where most people give up. That's where most New Year's resolutions die, is between days 21 and 40, because your brain starts to sabotage you. Your conscious mind gets tired after 21 days, but your subconscious, the automated part, hasn't come up to play yet. So there's this gap that people have in that little time space. And once you figure out how to expect that, and once you figure out how to deal with it, you can absolutely make those long-term changes.
That is awesome. Okay, number one, let's talk about how much does it cost, and then how do they sign up? How do they get this implemented?
Sure. Yeah. For the Healthy Habits program, it is $250 a month, $250 a month, or the 2-month program total is $500. So you can pay for it however, either way you want to do. And you can sign up on the website, livelifeconscious.com, and you click on coaching at the top of the page. And you'll see
Interesting.
2
Hold,
programs.
please. Let's go. Like, you mean this? No, that's
oh
not
my
right.
goodn's.
This one right
There's
here. I
Facebook.
was
There it
supposed to have a
is.
big
You're
reveal,
so
and I didn't do a
good.
good job.
You found
Okay,
it.
so this is where they go.
Yep. Click on coaching up there at the top.
That's what I love about Zoom.
There we go. Coaching right there. So the Healthy and Happy program is right there at the top. And you'll also see another program there, the 3 Essential Habits Mastermind. This is for people who want to form habits in your life in areas other than health. So maybe you need a little bit of consistency in your business, or we've had clients in here with mental health habits. And I mean, whatever the thing is, if you want to simplify it and get a little bit of consistency and accountability, the 3 Essential Habits Mastermind is definitely the answer for you. That one's a little bit cheaper, and it is it's just a weekly group coaching program, a weekly Zoom call. And this one will start in September. So you can sign up now and get on the waiting list to begin in September. So this one's $100 a month for the first 20 people who sign up between now and September. And then the Healthy and Happy program, like I said, if that one is for the healthy habits, if health is your number one goal and that's where you want to start, this is an all-in program. It includes an entire online course that walks you through the whole process about how your brain works. And then it helps you form 10 healthy habits. So we're not just talking about food or exercise. We're talking about all sorts of things. We're talking sleep. We're talking stretching, fruits, veggies, sugar management. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Portion control, all these different things. And it's all going to be tied into this program so that by the time you get through here, you're no longer wanting to be healthy, but you can actually be healthy for the rest of your life.
So it's interesting that we're talking about this, that I just finished the book Atomic Habits last month. That was our team's book team. And that talked about is becoming that person. Yes. You aren't, I'm not this person trying to do this. I now become that person.
It's absolutely.
And that's where the habit comes in, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. It becomes part of who you are and the way that you live naturally. And so you don't have to try so hard. You don't have to think about it. We use an accountability system where you track the points daily, basically. You track the habits every day. And after about 6 weeks, once you start to get into that 40, 50, 60 days, you don't need the chart anymore. You don't need the points anymore. You don't need the habit tracking anymore. It's just the way that you are, the way that you live. And it's so beautiful to see that transition, to see people go from, the conscious part of it where you're really thinking about it and trying really hard to, I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to try really hard. It's just the way that I am now. It's just the way that I live. And I love that Atomic Habits book. He talks about the 3 phases of habits just the same way I do. He uses different language, but he talks about that gap that I was talking about before. He calls it the plateau of latent potential. It's all very similar science. He and I reference a lot of the same things. So,
well, I imagine it is, if it works, I mean, it makes sense. That's what's interesting, is it makes logical sense. Now it's the implementation. So I can read the book, but will I do it?
That's the key right there. Oh, you just nailed it, sister. We
I
can read books all day
the
long.
book, but no one
Exactly.
keeps me accountable then.
Yeah, you can read all the books. You can read, I mean, you can listen to all the podcasts. You can talk
Yeah.
about it all day long till you're blue in the face. But until you actually do something and be consistent with it long enough that your brain stops fighting you, that's where the change really happens. And that's where the magic really happens. I
Yeah.
love that part of the process.
Well, we have in Keller Williams, Gary Keller's always telling us in anything to do with anything business, you have to become comfortable in the boredom of mastery. And I like novelty. And that's my struggle, right? I don't want to get to the point. I don't want to get past the novelty. And that's what holds me back. And I don't like anybody noticing that because I want to stick to novelty. And
that's a huge piece of it, is where taking something and making it consistent makes it less exciting. And being able to see, that's another mental shift that we make in the program is the mindset of celebrating the small things so that we can keep it exciting. Instead of thinking, a lot of us, especially with health, so many of us, as soon as we reach the benchmark, whatever the goal is that we set for ourselves, as soon as we reach it, we just move the mark. And then we never celebrate and we never tell ourselves, good job. So then our brains don't realize like, oh, this is actually making a difference.
Yeah. Oh, hey. We're going to get on YouTube for that. That's really, hi, buddy. So what happens? He's like, hey. So it's interesting that you say that because I also read a book recently called The Happiness Advantage. And he talks about that, is to where our brains never get satisfaction and never move to happiness because we keep moving the mark.
Yes, that's such a crucial and tragic part of the puzzle. I love talking with people and working out their goals and their ambitions and the things that they want in their lives. But then once they start to actually take that action, oftentimes we sabotage ourselves because we don't celebrate as we go. We see this, okay, in 60 days, that's where I'm going to be. Yeah. And then in 45 days, we haven't made a lot of progress. And we're like, well, I don't know. Or on day 2, when we make a mistake, it's like, all right, forget it. Like I'm done. Yeah. So that's the all in, all out mindset. So what I shift into is helping you. That's why we track these things every single day. And then we talk about it every single day in the program with each other. It's a group call that we get together every week and we celebrate our successes for the week. And I don't mark anything about what you didn't do. Right. I don't have you even focus on those things. We just skip it all together. But what you do, what you actually accomplished throughout the week, that is where your focus goes. And so then what this does is it's more about the brain chemistry, sends you all those endorphins and all of those things that get released in your brain. So that's where your motivation comes from, is you achieve a little thing, you make a big deal out of it, and then your brain is like, hey, let's do more little things. Yeah. And then it becomes exciting again, so that you don't have to be bored with it and you don't have to hate the process. Yeah. But you actually learn to enjoy the process. That's how you can be healthy and happy.
Healthy and happy, what? So what a really good segue into, hold please. You do a podcast.
I do a
and you have a Facebook group.
I do have a
So
Facebook
tell me
group.
about this, Habits and Humor.
Yeah, so the podcast is called Habits and Humor, and it's very much what it sounds like. We use humor to teach habits. And I think I love personal development and self-help and all of this stuff, but sometimes it feels really heavy and it just, sometimes you get through a book and you're like exhausted by the time when you're done with it. And it brings you down more than it brings you up. And so the point of this show is to teach the life lessons, teach the habits, teach the progress in a way that is super fun, super uplifting, and hilarious. I want you to come and I want you to laugh. And it's also super relatable, because most of the stories we tell are embarrassing moments. And I mean, have you ever started telling an embarrassing moment and then 10 other people in the room are like, oh, here's my most embarrassing moment, or here's mine, or here's mine. It's really easy to relate with those. So that's how we do it on this show. We tell a hilarious or embarrassing story, and then we give you a couple of habits that apply to that story, life lessons that we learned, and then a way that you can apply that into your life and actually make some progress that you can enjoy.
I love that. Is it every day?
It is once a week. Every Wednesday, we release an episode. Today, I just released an episode about how I avoided some jail time. And yeah, you'll learn a little bit about some healthy habits and how I got in big trouble.
I love that. Okay, so this one what I'm showing right now is actually your Facebook group that you can join, the Facebook group. Can you get to the podcast from here?
You should be able to. But if not, you can search Habits and Humor podcast on any podcast platform.
I think as I go back here, is if I went back home, I think they're also, right there. So if you go to Life Conscious, I think this is, nope, this isn't it. This must be it right here. For those, I'm not a podcaster. So I always am very confused. You'd think with all my technology, they're like, oh yeah, I know how to do podcasts. I'm like, where do you go for podcasts? I know, so.
Yeah, you can download any podcast app. If you have an iPhone, you already have a podcast app built into your phone. And you just open that podcast app and search for Habits and Humor on there. Or you can download any podcast application that you want. I use Google Podcasts. My husband uses Castbox. I mean, you can use any Spotify if you're a Spotify listener. Mm-hmm. Yep. Awesome. It's on all of them. So you just search for Habits and Humor and it will pop up.
I love that. I love that. So this leads to what I found out about you is you wrote a book.
Yes, I sure did.
Interestingly enough, click. Life Conscious. So what was this? This may feel as though I've set this whole thing up. I don't know. So tell us about this book.
So my book is called Life Conscious, and I love that we're doing this week because my ebook this week is free. So until Friday, if you want to get this book for totally free, go to Amazon right now and you can read it for free. The ebook is free until Friday. So you got 2 more days to pick this up.
Awesome.
And then obviously there's a paperback version. If you're a paper person like me, I love to read paper books. And then the ebook version will be available next week as well. But the book is sort of my experience and then the science behind what I discovered. So 15 years ago, when I started as a personal trainer, I created a 60-day program to help my clients form their healthy habits, which has morphed into the Healthy and Happy program we've been talking about. But what happened was after 60 days, we'd stopped thinking about the things. We'd stopped recording them. We'd stopped talking to each other about them. And they just kept happening. And it was like magic. And we were all amazed by this. So I jumped into research and I figured out how it went and why that happened, how to replicate the process. And then we kept doing this with my healthy clients for years and years as a personal trainer. And then after I had my 4th baby, I had postpartum depression that I didn't know that I had. And for about a year and a half, I just felt totally disconnected and I felt like kind of lost. And the things that used to make me happy just didn't make me happy anymore. So through some encouragement from people that love me, I finally went to see a doctor and they were like, yes, absolutely. This is what you have. Why have you waited so long? You have postpartum depression. And this was a bit of a relief, but also a bit of worry. I kind of was like, well, what do I do now? Like, what am I supposed to do with this information? This doesn't change anything. And they said, you need to focus on your mental health. And this is something I've never, ever done. I've focused on physical health and I've done a million other different habitual things in my life, but never with mental health. And so on my drive home from that appointment, I believe it was divine intervention, call it whatever you will. I was inspired to try my own healthy and happy programming, but instead of on physical health habits with my mental health. And so I went home and I sat down and I set some mental health goals for myself. And I practiced those daily things every day for 2 months. And like I said, I had this issue. I've had this disconnection with myself for a year and a half. For 18 months, I had just been living, I don't know, sort of asleep. I call it my unconscious year. Felt like that year happened to me. I didn't do anything that whole year. And then 2 months, you guys, in 2 months, I totally came back to life. I say that Life Conscious came to life because it brought me back to life. And so it's kind of the story of how and why habits work and how the simplest way that you can form those habits. And then in the second half of the book teaches you how to do it in 5 different areas of your life. So it's got the Healthy and Happy program in there for your health habits. It's got the mental health. It's got some self-love habits in there, some finance habits, some family habits, some faith habits, all these different things and different ways that you can apply it in your life.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, and I think those are some of those things that people ignore and people push away. And like you said, it wasn't, going through just not taking care of that. It's so easy to then focus outside of yourself. You can distract yourself a lot by outside things, especially with family and kids and everything else. But it catches up with you.
It really does. And at some point or another, either you stop and take care of what needs to be taken care of, or you will be stopped and forced to take care of what needs to be taken care of. So you can do it as a preventative measure, or you can do it as a life-saving measure later on. It's totally up to you.
You're going to have to do it. And your body will stop you. I believe that. I think I heard someone say that once, as they said, your body will let you go until it says, okay, If you won't do it for yourself, I'll do it for you.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And then you're in crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And that time when that happens, it will not be the convenient time. It will not be the time that is just perfect. It's at the worst possible time that your body goes, I'm done.
Yeah, it really
Or
is
your mind or
unfortunate.
your emotions or your heart or whatever it is that I'm done.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that most of us have to hit like sort of that rock bottom period before we'll do something like this.
Mhm.
So don't let yourself do that. Realize that it can be super, super simple things. So the
Mhm.
habit system that I use with my online programs is called 1, 2, 3 habits.
Mhm.
And I talk about how whatever the goal is, happiness, health, success, financial stability, whatever it is that you want, it can really, truly be as simple as 1, 2, 3. One focus at a time. So that's the first step and this is the step that most people fight back on and have a problem with because we want all the things all the time.
It is. I
right?
was going to say, I feel like it's a waste of time if you don't do it all. It's like, well, then this is one step, but I'm not even,
Yep. So I'm not telling you to stop everything else. I'm just telling you to give your conscious focus to one thing right now first. One thing first. And then for 2 months, you're going to be consistent with that thing every single day. And what are we going to do every single day? We're going to harness those 2 superpowers, your conscious and subconscious mind. We're going to work those 2 things together for 2 months, doing 3 simple daily habits. So pick 3 things that are going to make that one goal that you have come into reality right now. So let's say if health, for example, is your number one pillar, you're like, health is my first focus. What are 3 things you can do today and every day for the next 60 days to make that health pillar focus number 1?
What if we don't know what that is? What if we don't have an idea of what will be the most effective?
That's why I'm here. That's what I'm here
Oh,
for.
dun, dun, dun.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, if you don't know, you can start by just trying a few things, a little bit of trial and error. The first 2 weeks of any journey is going to be the most eye-opening. And so give yourself a couple of weeks to just try and sift through and try several different things. And then whichever ones you feel like, actually, this feels like this is really making a difference. Write it down, make that one. Okay, this is habit number 1. And then maybe habit number 2 will come up, or maybe habit number 3 will come up. And if you're having a problem with this and you're struggling with this, but you're like, I don't know if I want to sign up for a 60-day program, just reach out, just ask, I'm happy to help you walk through this process. And then if health is not your top priority, the 3 Essential Habits Mastermind is a fabulous way for you to get the answer to that exact question. Because I'm not the coach in that program. Every single member of the mastermind, it's a true mastermind. Every single person in there is helping each other. So you come in there to get help for yourself, but you also come in there to give help for everyone else in the room. Because isn't that what most of us want, is to take what we've learned, the hardships we've gone through, and help somebody else do it a little bit easier than we did so that we know what we went through was worth it. That's absolutely what the space does. It gives you a place where you can not only work on yourself and simplify it and get your 3 habits and really get other people's opinions and advice on how to get those 3 best ones. What are going to be the best 3? I may not be able to tell you that, but the 30 other people in the room probably can. And so we get those 3 habits, we figure out what they are, and then we help you to stay on top of it, stay accountable and stick with it through that, especially through that, I call it the slump. James Clear calls it the plateau of latent potential, whatever you want to call it, that period where your brain starts to quit. We're going to help you get through that so that you can get to that magical part where things start to become natural.
Well, I know when you get just learning and being there is one thing, but when you teach it, it brings back those endorphins again. Because to get that happiness advantage book that I read, is that idea is if somebody else smiles at you, you get as many endorphins as if you smile yourself.
Yes. It's
That's
amazing.
Yeah.
Being able to teach anything is the fastest way to learn because you're just utilizing a different part of your brain. You're utilizing the research part, you're utilizing the connection part, you're utilizing all of these things that are really, really important, all the important places in your brain to focus on this thing. And what that does is it tells you like, oh, actually, this is super important. It was important when we went through it, but now that we're helping someone else go through it, we're revisiting all those experiences that we already had, we already have a connection with. Now we know it's like super important. And so then your brain is like, hey, let's keep this going.
Yeah. Awesome. That's so awesome. This is so cool. Thank you, Suzi, for sharing this with us. What an amazing, and everybody that's watching, this is the kind of thing that all of us need and we don't do. It really is. It's the thing we know we need and we don't do. because there is that part of, am I really ready to go? But a first step in, man, these are life-changing experiences that we go back. Why didn't we do this earlier? Why did we resist? So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I
And I'm
appreciate
pretty
that.
sure everybody watching this video has somebody that this applies to, that they
Agreed.
know. So if that's you right now, I'm looking in your eyes. You say, great, guess what? My buddy needs it, or my kid needs it, or my spouse needs it, or my coworker needs it. So guess what you do? You get them and you do it, because I'm pretty sure you need it too, and do it together.
It's so much more fun when you do it with somebody who cares about you and who knows what you're going through, which is why we do it in a group. It's because everyone in here, we're on the same process.
I'll
We're
try
all
to
doing
do
the
it.
same thing.
It's awesome. Okay, I'm going to share my screen one more time. Tell us one more time, how do they get signed up, and the 2 options that we have?
Yes, livelifeconscious.com, and then click on coaching at the top of the page there. And if you want healthy habits, you can go to the healthy and happy habits transformation. Or if you want other habits and you want to get in the mastermind piece for other parts of your life, sign up in the 3 Habits Mastermind, and that one will start in September. Healthy and happy is continuous, and you can start that at any time.
At any time. I love that. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for your energy. Awesome. 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 Appreciate that.
Thank you, Jessica.
I can't believe that we connected up right after these 2 books that I read that were so impactful and amazing. So this is
It's so awesome. And we scheduled this thing like months ago, and it happens to be the week that my book is free. So this is awesome.
And reminder, you guys, get the book for free. I'll put a link below in the description on how to get to that. So thank you, Suzi. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
This was great fun.
Appreciate it. Okay, you guys, again, you've got both the Habits and Humor podcast, the Facebook group. It's livelifeconscious.com, habits coaching, Suzi Barrett, Suzi B. Awesome. Fantastic. All right. Thank you for joining us today. This has been Jessica Carden with Murdoch Manwaring Company, your nosy neighbors, keeping you in the know.